Oh, welcome. Welcome. This is a great place. We have a lot of services available. Make sure before you leave tonight to pick up one of our flyers that shows our menu, that shows all the services that we offer here, okay? Yeah, up by the front desk there. Yeah, we're going to have some assistance up there, so all you have to do is ask. Gilead Healing Center is definitely a very unique place. There's not other like it, I don't think, in the country. If there is, I've never heard of it. Just with all of the services, we focus on healing the spirit, the mind, the body, the soul, all of it, everything here. So it's pretty unique. We got one more straggler coming in. All right, you guys ready to learn? All right, awesome. Welcome. Hi. Good. All right. How many? Yeah, hi. I do. I have a microphone on. I usually speak quite loud and it echoes in here. Are you hearing me okay? Okay, all right. I have a microphone for the cameras, but not like for you, unfortunately. But usually I speak quite clearly and loud. So I will try to do my best to kick it up a notch for you, okay? Who here knows of a guy whose name was Steve Jobs? Anybody? Anybody remember who Steve Jobs was? Yeah? There was a Forbes article published, you know, the magazine Forbes, that said that before he died, he was worth $10 billion. $10 billion before he died. Raise your hand if you would change places right now with Steve Jobs. That's what I thought. I figured. See, I was trying. That was a kind of a trick question, but you guys are on it. You guys are awake. I like that. Is it fair to say that your health is worth more than $10 billion? Is that fair to say? Yeah, right. Is it fair to say that your health is your absolute most important asset? That's right. See, you guys are already, like 3 questions in a row. You're going to pass. I mean, no, there's no quiz. So here's the question. What do you think the number one most important factor that determines your health? What is it? Diet? Yeah. So you see, in my offices, I work in this office and across town, but I see a lot of people the same age, the same economic factors, the same everything, it seems. So what separates someone who is developing diseases in their body, maybe taking multiple medications, the Ziploc bag is full. You know what I mean by that? The Ziploc bag of medications is full. Maybe having a lesser quality of life, feeling like a burden, compared to someone who is living life to the fullest, checking off their bucket list, spending time with friends and family, traveling the world. Is it luck? Is it genetics? You see, as a clinical nutritionist right here in Lansing, I've seen hundreds of families taken care of. I've had that pleasure of taking care of hundreds of families right here in Lansing, in this community and around. And I feel the number one factor is action. It's action. You see, people who are healthy make their health a priority. Say that word with me, priority. Right, that's what they do. Their health is a priority. And these people, when they put their health as a priority, these people take massive action. Say that, massive? That's right. They take massive action. So when you're of the kind that your mind is set, that you're going to take massive action on your health, guess what? That area prospers. I believe it was Gandhi who said that once upon a time. Where you put your priorities prospers, right? Who doesn't want prosperous health? So is it fair to say that if I were to learn about whole food nutrition and healthy lifestyle, but if I never take any action to change, that I'm never probably going to get healthy? That's fair to say, isn't it? Think about this for a second. Any of you know people who bought maybe gym equipment, fitness equipment or a gym membership, but they never really used it? Yeah? Me too. I did it. I'll admit it. I was that person. I've done that before. I'm ashamed of that a little bit, but I will admit that. How many of you know somebody that they know junk food, it's not good for them, right? They know their poor lifestyle choices, probably not good for them, but they never take any action to change. Yeah. That, you guys, is why I'm here with you tonight. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Helena Miller. I am a clinical nutritionist right here at Gilead Healing Center, and I specialize in what's called nutrition response testing. My purpose tonight is to not only give you life-changing information, but I want you to take action with that. I want to inspire you to do something with the action, with action. I want you to take it and then step forward into action. Fair enough? So what we're going to learn tonight is why sugar is bad for you, right? We all know, at least I feel like we all know from at least our childhood, from our mother saying to us, don't eat too much sugar, you're going to get a stomachache, right? We all know that, but that's the extent of most of our knowledge about sugar. And there's so much more to that we need to learn. You see, when you get that knowledge of why you should stay away from sugar to gain your health back, you can make that choice easier, can't you? It's easier because I'm going to have some sugar, but I'm probably not going to gorge out and have a stomachache and get sick like my mom said. But there's so much more to it, okay? And we're going to talk a little bit more about that later. We're going to learn how much sugar is really in your foods, because most people have no idea what sugar really is, except for the white stuff, right? We're going to learn how to fix the addiction, because it really is an addiction. That's why we call this Lick the Sugar Habit. In fact, this is based on a book called Lick the Sugar Habit. So if you want to really dive in, if you're a knowledge person, you really want to dive into this material and learn more, that's the book for you, okay? So that's based on that book. And learn how to regain your health, because that's important, okay? Now, Helena, you're asking me to take action, so what's my first action step, right? How do I regain my health? And stick around, because later I'm gonna give you an offer that you just can't refuse. How about that, okay? So we're gonna discover some stuff about sugar tonight. And I'm gonna give you some tips tonight, some real truth action steps to get you started when you leave out the door, right? Some things to just do now that you haven't done before, okay? And then for you that want to take action, that's where the offer comes in, okay? I'm going to give you an opportunity to have a shot at my health wellness check, okay, which is a 2-visit check. We'll talk more about it at the end, but it's really tailored to your specific needs nutritionally to help you on your healing journey, okay? All right, let's go. Everybody wants to be healthy. We just don't always know how, okay? So this is a simple formula. We need good life flow. We need to move well, all right? We need to move well. Physically and mentally move well. We need to be free to move well. We need lifestyle, and that equals lifespan, okay? Being healthy really encompasses all those things. And at the root of that is thinking well, eating well, and moving well. That's the root of your health right there. You have to have all three. Otherwise, you might be lacking something, right? You can't get too healthy. You can't feel really great if you're a negative Nancy. Yes or yes? Is that true? Anybody been around a negative Nancy before? It's kind of it's a Debbie Downer, right? It's like, whoa, I gotta get out of this space because it's bringing me down, okay? So that's the summary right out there in the front for you. So how do we do that? We're gonna get into that. Oops, there we go. There it is, the McFlurry. I've had them, right? We all have. From McDonald's. Yeah, from McDonald's, okay? So those sugar cubes, they represent how much sugar is in a McFlurry. Do they still have those? They probably do, don't they? Yeah. Okay, we have one person who knows. Got it, okay. Starbucks coffee, right? Everybody loves their lattes and their fruit coffees, but you have to stop and think about, A, how much you're paying for those, right? Because they're very expensive. And B, how much sugar you're really getting first thing in the morning, okay, from that, right? It's much cheaper to make your coffee at home, and guess what? Instead of sugar in there, maybe put some healthy fat in there, like whole whipping cream, or coconut oil, or butter. Isn't that weird? You should try it. Butter in your coffee is actually quite good, okay? It starts your day off with healthy fat instead of sugar, right? All right, we don't want to get on the sugar train too early in the morning. Here's Cinnabon. Anybody remember Cinnabon in the Lansing Mall? Okay, I'm dating myself here a little bit, but I think you guys understand, right? When I was I know, when I was a kid it was though. And I remember every time I got a chance to go to the mall with my mom, I could smell it. It was like right there by JCPenney. I'm taking us back, okay? But the truth of the matter is, look at all the sugar in the Cinnabon, right? You got sugar not only in the actual swirl frosting, but you've got the actual bun is sugar because it's flour, okay? It's just sugar. But here's an orange. You see that? See how many sugar cubes? Yes, there's sugar in there. It's natural sugar, fructose, but it's a lot less sugar, isn't it? Any of you ever juiced before? Yeah, I tried to juice years ago. I bought myself a Jack LaLanne juicer. Thought I was going to be really healthy. I didn't realize how many oranges it takes to juice one glass of orange juice. Holy wow. It was like 2 or 3, at least 2, but most of the time 3 medium-sized oranges for one good glass of orange juice. So how many sugar cubes do you think would it be in a glass of orange juice then? Yeah, it would be 3 times that, wouldn't it? So do you think it's better to drink the orange juice glass or eat the fruit? Eat the fruit. Good. See how much you're learning already? All right, Oreos. Bam. All right, so 4 Oreos, you've got 3.5 sugar cubes, but the whole sleeve here, you got this, right? Does somebody stop at 4? Be honest. Do you stop at 4? When you start eating Oreos, do you really stop at 4? No, no, you don't. You're going to eat the whole sleeve, right? If it's Girl Scout cookies, because the package has gotten smaller over the years, have you noticed that? You're going to eat the whole thing, right? Yes. And the other store, BJ's. Okay, I haven't been there yet. It's a new store. Yep. Here's a shake from McDonald's. Does McDonald's love you? Do they really love you? No, they don't really love you. Snapple iced tea, right? So sometimes when I ask people to stop drinking pop or soda, if anybody's listening from the South, right? When I ask people to stop drinking pop, the number one thing they want to go to oftentimes is tea, right? But this is the type of tea they want to bring me and see if it's okay, right? So the truth of the matter is, yeah, it's tea, but it still has a ton of sugar in it, right? And so I'm trying really hard to get my people off of sugared teas, right? And oftentimes that Snapple bottle, I don't know if you have ever looked at it before, but that's more than 1 serving. I think that bottle is at least 1.5 servings, if not 2. So, but most people are going to drink the whole thing, right? So you times the sugar content by 2. And good old sorbet, Haagen-Dazs sorbet. It sounds fancy, so it must be better than ice cream, right? Sorbet. And you see the little pint there. So we get the pint, And we scoop a couple scoops in the bowl and we think, oh, here we go, I'm gonna have a treat. And you finish the bowl, and then you put the bowl down. Maybe you might do a few things, right? But then guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna go back and get the bowl, you're gonna go back into the freezer and finish the carton. Who, am I alone on this? Is anybody else, am I the only one who's done this? Right, this is sugar addiction, right? It calls out to us. It's just the same as nicotine, alcohol, it lights up the same parts of our brain. And here's pineapples. Pineapples are so good for you, right? Bromelain, it's good for a cough, right? It does have sugar, but it's fruit sugar, okay? And typically when you get a pineapple, you're probably not going to eat the whole pineapple, are you? No. There's things in there that just satisfy us to be done. Those things are not in Oreo cookies, I've discovered, okay? Got it? All right, so 100 years ago, the average American ate 6 pounds of sugar per year. Now we eat over 210 pounds of sugar per year. Yeah? Good thing it's so cheap. Did they do that on purpose? They probably did. Today, it's the biggest health concern. What does cancer, cholesterol, and cranky, tired, irritable human beings have to do with each other? Sugar. They sure do. Sugar causes cholesterol problems. No way. My doctor said, I have to stay away from fat, right? That's what we were trained to do. When I was a kid, I remember there was a distinct part of my childhood where I was eating butter, and then can't believe it's not butter. Like my mom, dad bought into that, you know? I mean, that's how we were trained. And that happened during my childhood. I remember it specifically. And so eating sugar reduces your good cholesterol and increases your bad cholesterol and raises your triglyceride levels. Okay? Why does it do that? Well, because it causes inflammation. It causes inflammation in the vessels. Okay? Your body's response to that is to patch it up. Your body's just doing what you've asked it to do. You've caused the problem with the sugar, and now the body is going to go patch it up. With what? Cholesterol. Yes, the cholesterol goes there. Yes, it oxidizes over time and plaques. But the real root of the cause is, or the problem is what? It's sugar. We got to look at deeper, right? We can't open up vessels and say they're all clogged full of cholesterol and plaquing and say, well, you got to stay away from the fat, right? The cholesterol, you can't have any cholesterol in your food. You can't have fat. You got to get to the root cause of the problem, which is the sugar, if you really want to keep your cholesterol levels nice and steady, right? Particularly the triglyceride. Triglyceride for us in our office is like the crapometer, okay? So that's the only one really I focus on right out the gate when somebody brings me their lab values is that one. Then I know I really have to work hard on their diet, okay? Really got to clean up the junk food and the McDonald's and the Cinnabons that they're eating, okay? Here's an interesting factoid. Guess what? Let's do this first. Look at the blue sheet that we gave you on your way in. That comes directly from the book that I told you about, like the sugar habit. So what I want you to do when you get home tonight, if you're dealing with any health issues, chronic or acute, doesn't matter, I want you to look over that sheet tonight, and I want you to find yourself on that sheet. What I mean by that is if you're dealing with something, say it's headaches or it's, digestive issues or whatever it is, I bet you can find it on that sheet, okay? So whatever ails you, whatever struggles you're having, I want you to highlight or underline or circle. I want you to go through every one, and I want you to highlight everything that pertains to how you feel. And then I want you to confront that. Because once you do that, you have to at least admit that part of why you feel the way you do is because of sugar, okay? It's a confront. We all need that sometimes. We need to confront our enemy, so to speak, right? Okay? Now for me, before I started on my health journey, I had asthma and allergies really bad as a kid, both of them. And because of that, I became a respiratory therapist, okay? Because I knew what it was like to not be able to breathe well. I mean, there were times when I had to go to the ER even, and, you know, have nebulizer treatments and steroids and all of that. And I was constantly allergic to my world. Trees, grass, nuts, dogs, cats, you name it, you know, everything. And so I was constantly itchy eyes, wheezy lungs, snotty nose. This was me. I even went to the doctor. I got all the shots. I got all the pokes with the testing and all of that stuff. I got the inhalers. And I became a respiratory therapist thinking in my mind that I was going to help people, and I did. I absolutely did. However, I didn't realize, I was under the impression that I was always going to suffer from asthma, and the people I was taking care of they were always going to have to carry an inhaler like me, right? But the truth of the matter is, I didn't realize that my sugar consumption had anything to do with my allergies and asthma until I removed it from my diet. And you will see on that list, allergies and asthma. So I want you to do that for yourself tonight. And when you get home, I want you to go through that real quick and highlight front and back. Highlight for yourself so you can confront it, because that helps us to take the step into action. Okay? Fair enough. Sugar is the only thing that cancer cells eat. Did you know that? Raise your hand if you knew that. All right, good. One person knew. Sugar is the only thing that cancer cells eat. So what do you think? What do you think the number one thing, if you get that diagnosis, you should do, and you should be told by your doctor to do, is? That's right. Do you think that happens often? No. It doesn't happen often. I don't know why. I can't answer why that is, but it's discouraging to me with the cancer rate in America, that is not the first most thing. And they know that it does. That's why PET scans use sugar. There's sugar in that solution that they inject in you if you go to get a PET scan so that they can see where the cancer is. It'll light up in those areas because of the sugar. Learned something new. Yes. So they know that sugar feeds on cancer. Otherwise, they wouldn't do that to the PET scan, right? Interesting, huh? Yes. I believe at the root of all cancers is something that really likes sugar. Maybe a bug. Bugs like sugar. Fungus likes sugar. Bacteria really like sugar. Parasites love sugar. Interesting, isn't it? At the root of all cancers is probably something that likes sugar, right? It's not just a cell. Probably something in that cell that likes sugar. That's what I think. That's what I think. Sugar causes hypoglycemia, or low blood sugar. This is a very hard concept for people to get into their brain, because what do you do when you're having a hypoglycemic attack, if you will? You want to eat sugar. That's what they tell you. You should eat sugar. You probably should carry sugar around with you just in case, right? My father is this way. I can't get through his thick skull. Love you, Dad, but I can't get through his thick skull that probably he should stay away from sugar in order for that to get better. Because you see, when we have a lot of sugar in our diet, we wake up with sugar and then in our coffee, and then we have a sugar breakfast of toast and orange juice and maybe some oatmeal or cereal. That's just sugar. And then we have lunch and we have a big plate of pasta, or we make a sandwich with bread. That's just sugar. And then maybe at midday we're kind of hungry, so we go get a handful of, M&Ms from somewhere, right? Because we got the munchies, we're tired and we want to wake up, and that's just sugar. And then at dinner, we're trying to eat low fat because that's what the doctor said. So we have chicken, and then we have, garlic bread, or you know what I'm saying? We have a white potato, and that's just sugar. Do you see what I'm saying? It can add up quick, can't it? Maybe we have a soda in there or a pop in there along the way. So you're on this roller coaster ride the whole day. Your sugar goes up and down and up and down and up and down. And then what happens is your body can get too efficient in putting that sugar with the insulin back in the cell. And it can dip too low. And then we're, right? Oh, I'm getting hot, I'm getting sweaty, I got to sit down, I feel like I'm going to faint, right? That's because you're consuming too much sugar. You're on the roller coaster. You got to get off the roller coaster. So how do we do that? We kick sugar out of our lives and eat so our blood sugar is nice and even throughout the day, right? No more roller coaster, okay? Okay. All right, so sugar suppresses your immune system. This is a huge, huge, huge thing for us today. We've been 2 years scared about how strong our immune system is. 2 years. Maybe longer for some people, I don't know. But at least two years we've been kind of scared, or at least a lot of us have, about how strong our immune system is, okay? So you need to understand that sugar slows down your response, your immune response against bacteria and everything else for that matter. It also causes stress on all the body systems, creating a weakened immunity and suppressing your body's ability to fight off bugs. We know about the comorbidities, we know about that, but nobody teaches us about sugar in regards to our immune system. So if you want a strong, robust immune system, you can't suppress it on the daily, can you? No, you can't. You can't expect your body to do something abnormal or, inhumane, because that would be inhumane. That'd be like superhuman. We're human. You can't expect your body to do something like that it's not designed to do while you're suppressing it, right? Sugar also upsets your mineral balance, okay? Put sugar in, you leach minerals out, particularly calcium. For those of you who are facing maybe osteopenia or osteoporosis, you got to understand that when you eat sugar, you are causing that to become worse, right? It disrupts the calcium-phosphorus ratio. It has to be just right for your body to use that calcium properly. Not that that's all for your bones. Your bones are a third collagen and a third protein also. But if you were talking mineral balance, which is what always the doctors are talking to you about your minerals, got to get some calcium, got to get some calcium. Well, it's okay to put extra calcium in, but you can't leach it back out. Right? Does that make sense? Yes or yes? Okay. When I ask people to give up their cereal because it's just sugar, they don't know what to eat in the morning for breakfast. They're just lost. I get it. I used to eat cereal all the time. When I was pregnant with my first child, in fact, I craved honeycombs. I craved honeycombs and I craved root beer. So guess what I ate a lot of? Honeycombs and root beer. Do you think I had a healthy pregnancy? No, I had a preterm baby, 2 pounds, 14 ounces from an emergency C-section. So that didn't work out so well for me, okay? We have a really, really high rate of miscarriage in this country, okay? Moms just don't know what they don't know about food. I know I didn't. I had no idea that I shouldn't be eating, honeycombs all the time, right? I mean, I wanted those things. My mom even bought me a big family-sized box of them, the big family box for a baby shower. Literally, that's what she bought me. Oh my goodness. So you have to be aware. You have to be aware of how these things are affecting you. They're suppressing your immune system. They're also, by the way, suppressing your digestive system, your digestive enzymes. They're not going to work so well if you're consuming sugar. Okay, particularly, people who have a big meal and they're drinking alcohol and then they have a dessert with that. Between the alcohol, the sugar in the alcohol and the dessert, you're not going to digest that big meal. And then guess what you're going to want to do? Sleep. You're going to want to take a nap, right? Those plans that you had after dinner, you're probably not going to feel so great to do them, right? Maybe when you're younger you can do that, but as you get older, your body really expresses that to you, doesn't it? Yep. So you have to eat more whole food. So for the morning, I tell my people to eat healthy protein and fat. Fry yourself an egg. Go ahead. Have some butter. Have it dripping down your chin. I don't care. As long as it's not, you can't believe it's not butter, right? Have it dripping. You got to wipe it off, right? That's okay. Your body recognizes butter. It's healthy, saturated fat for you. Okay? Get some good protein in. You don't always have to eat the lean chicken breast. You can have a leg and thigh if you want. You can. It's part of the chicken. God gave it to you to eat. Okay? And of course, you got to get some veggies in. You need your vitamins and minerals, okay? Although you can get a lot of that from good quality meats, okay? So, healthy fat. One thing I want to let you know too, because this is important, and it's not directly sugar, but it acts sometimes in the same way as sugar in the body. And that is stress. And why do I say that? Well, we've been through stress for the past 2 years, more stress than we realize, okay? Some people have been chill, but I tell you what, if you've been chill the past 2 years, you're still under stress, whether you realize it or not. Still physically affecting us. How does it affect us? Our adrenals are kicking in more. Maybe we're feeling like the lion is always chasing us. Guess what happens when the lion is chasing you in life and you're stressed out? Your blood, well, yeah, you eat, you stress eat, yeah. But automatically, naturally within your body, the blood sugar is going to go up. Why? Because you got to run. You need some fuel. Your cholesterol is going to go up. Why? Because that's how you're designed. You need that. Your blood pressure is going to go up. Why? Because your heart rate goes up. You got to run. So when the blood sugar goes up, because lion's always chasing us, even though we're sitting at our desk and we're frustrated at work, are we pumping sugar into our bloodstream? Yes or yes? We are. Guess where we store that sugar? In our fat cells. Okay? So I had a patient that came in today. She was just like that. She had stress. She was at a stressful job, and she wanted to retire from that job, so she had to get her affairs in order so she could retire. And she's on this beautiful nutrition program, but she needed a lot of digestive support, and she needed a lot of adrenal support. Okay, the adrenal glands, they secrete cortisol, and when the lion's chasing you, you got to have that. So she comes to me today, 1 week from retirement of this job. She's home, she can get things done, she can cook for her husband, you know, she's just calm. I tested her today. She doesn't need those adrenal supplements anymore. She doesn't need half of her digestive support anymore. That's how much, that is how much stress can affect you and your overall well-being. I had to share that with you because it's so powerful to understand that. So if you're in a stressful situation, it's also really important for your health to try to remove that stress or eliminate it as much as possible. That was a great story. I couldn't wait to share that with you. All right, so our cells can be deficient or toxic. So how do we fix this? We fix this by putting good food in the tank. We fix this by having specific nutritional supplements that you need to get better. And we fix this by detoxing the body. You see, I feel like sometimes my reality is a bit different than yours, maybe. You see, in our community, I see people who they're like developing more diseases in their body, dis-ease. They're developing more disease. They're needing more and more pharmaceutical medications. They have more doctors. Every week is a different specialist, right? We have kids in our schools, unfortunately, that are taking 2, 3, sometimes 4 different medications. Our kids, just so they can sit still and listen, oftentimes. Did you know that our kids in this country, 54% of them are chronically ill? 54%. Swallow that one, right? So if there's a little bit of urgency in my voice tonight, it's because I have it. That's a failure. We have failed our kids. We failed them. If I had 54% on a test, that was an F, right? I'm looking for a redo. We're ready for a redo in this country. That's a big fat fail. And it's multifactorial. But I will tell you that sugar plays a huge role in that. You've got kids on the spectrum, right? ADD, ADHD, but they're eating a ton of sugar. Their parents just don't know what they don't know about sugar. But I will tell you, if you challenge those parents, and if any of you are listening and these are your kids, listen, I challenge you to get sugar out of their life for 2 weeks and see if it doesn't make a bit of a difference. It may not make them perfect, but I can tell you they might be able to sit a lot longer. When you're talking to them face to face, they might actually make eye contact and listen to you and be able to focus on you. That makes sense? Kids are my passion. Can you tell? I have kids of my own. I have grandbabies already, so 54%, we got to do better. And we start with knowledge. We start with knowledge and knowledge of sugar, okay? Here's a tough truth. You do not catch disease. You don't catch it. You create it. You create it with your diet and lifestyle. I know that's a hard truth, but you need to hear it, okay? Genetics is all the doctor ever wants to know. What's in your family? Is this in your history? I will tell you that less than 10% of what happens to you in regards to your health has anything to do with your family history. It has mostly to do with your genetics. With your lifestyle and your diet, okay? It's up to us to understand that and make the changes that we need to so that we can have longevity, right? We want longevity. Why? Because, seriously, we don't want crud in the blood and being drunk with junk. I got that quote from some guy smarter than me years ago. I loved it, okay? I was like, that's a good one. All right, so sick people by default, they have bad lifestyle habits and choices, and they're not able to adapt well to their environment. So look, I'm going to be really, really truthful and straight with you. You and I, we have 3 choices in life. 3 outcomes, basically. Ready? You ready for it? Okay. The first is that we're going to grow old. We're going to develop disease in the body. We're going to end up maybe in a diaper at Dobie Road, not knowing our family when they come to visit, right? Having to have people take care of us. The second option is we grow older, we develop maybe cancer or heart disease, we die early, and we are leaving our families wondering if we could have done something different, right? What could they have done different? Shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? The third option is we're going to grow old, well into our 90s maybe. We're going to live life to the fullest. We're going to be able to take care of ourselves. We're not going to be a burden to our loved ones. We're going to be able to spend time with friends and family, right? And maybe someday when we're done here, our work is done, we can sit on our rocking porch in our chair and rock to sleep and never wake up, right? So which one do you guys want to be? 1, 2, or 3? 3, me too. Me too. See, you guys are so smart. You're getting all the right answers. We want to be number 3. We want longevity. I have a 96-year-old grandmother. I want that. You know, she's slowing down, but she's still got her faculties. Before COVID, she was dancing twice a week. It was just a shuffle, but she was dancing twice a week before COVID, and they shut it all down for her. That's the longevity I want. And that's what we deserve, isn't it? That's what we were here for. We're not here to suffer. We're here to have longevity and be prosperous, right? Okay. So sugar, if you look at this triangle, you got sugar at the top, Over here in this corner, you got organ dysfunction. And over here, you have nutritional deficiencies. So it's important to understand that every time you put sugar in your mouth, you are causing yourself nutritional deficiencies, right? Particularly the minerals, we just talked about that. Every time you put sugar in your mouth, you are causing yourself organ dysfunction, right? The reason that is because the deficiencies or the nutrients are the fuel for your organs. They're the fuel. If you're taking some of that fuel away, are these organs going to work well or not? No, they're not going to work well. And then what happens with this system that we create in our lives is that we continue to consume sugar, and then we continue to create deficiencies, and we continue to have organs that are less and less functional. And with that creates symptoms. And then these symptoms, they come more often, and then they become more severe, don't they? It's a downward spiral. And you need a halt to that, don't you? You need a halt. That halt tonight for you is nutrition response testing. That's what I want to share with you. That's the halt. That's the action step. Okay? We're going to talk more about that, but that's the halt. Nutrition response testing is, in fact, designed clinical nutrition. It's specifically tailored to your needs and your needs and your needs. Isn't that sweet? Do you get that in a hospital? No, unfortunately you don't. If you go to the hospital tonight in heart failure and you go to the hospital tonight in heart failure, guess what? They're going to do the same thing to you. You're going to the same tests, the same bag of saline, you're going to get diuretics, you're going to get an x-ray and an EKG, and you're going to get blood work, and you're going to get a catheter maybe. So everything is going to be the same with the exception of your known drug allergies, but outside of that, they're going to do the same. It's called evidence-based practice. That's what they do. They check the box, this is this and this and this. Nutrition response testing isn't very much not like that. It's tailored specifically to you. So if you come into my office and you say, Helena, I have heart disease, and you say, Helena, I have heart disease, I'm like, great, okay, let's see if we can fix this. See if we can get this better. Get your body in better working order. Who here does not want a body that's in better working order? Right, I want that. I want my body to be optimized. I want it to function optimally. And how do we do that? We put good nutrition in, and we get the organs to work better. Sound good? Because when we do that, right, let's go back to the triangle, right? If I pull out any corner of this triangle, it's going to alter the other two sides of the triangle. Yes or yes? I'm taking you back to geometry, right? Okay, let's say, see, they didn't tell you you'd use math tonight, but all right, so what that means is if I stop eating sugar, I'm going to have less organ dysfunction, right? And I'm going to deplete my nutrients even less, right? Yes or yes? Right? Okay, so if I put good food in my body, I'm going to increase my nutrient levels, right? Which are going to help my organs function. So it's all relative is what I'm getting at. Okay? Am I going too fast for anybody? Okay, and you can hear me, ma'am? Okay, good. All right, design clinical nutrition. Overall health, we all want that. We want our health to be our wealth. We don't want to end up like Steve Jobs. He had all the wealth in the world. He could have gone anywhere, and he did, right? $10 billion worth of wealth. But he couldn't stay well enough to live. And he died early. He died early, leaving his family behind, wondering if they could have done something different, or he could have done something different. And he probably tried a lot of things that you and I don't have access to because we don't have his wealth, but was it enough? Sadly, no. So I'm encouraging you tonight to take action. Get out of awareness, right? I put you into awareness. You have more knowledge than when you walked in my door. You're in awareness. I want to take you into action. Fair enough? Right? Do you think you have enough knowledge that you could take some baby steps when you walk out of here in the right direction? Do you think when you go to Kroger or Meijer or wherever you shop that you could maybe shop the perimeter instead of down the aisles more? That's a good start, right? Because that's where the real food is. It's on the outside. If it comes in a box or a can or whatever, a bag, you might want to leave it there, okay? If it's got a laundry list of ingredients this long, you might want to leave it there. Okay? So here's the offer tonight. The offer to go from awareness into action. Awareness into action. It's just step after step after step. Big goals, little steps, right? That's all it is. It's a journey. Your health is a journey, and it should be. Because if you've never made your health a priority up until this moment now, you have to realize that we got to work back through all of those things, right? And your body will. It's designed to heal. It's designed to heal. You cut your finger, you put a Band-Aid on, and you go about your business, right? You know it's just going to heal. You don't have to do any real magic or woo-woo stuff. It's just going to heal because that's how God designed you. But you got to have the right nutrition, and you have to have proper functioning organs. You have to have less toxic cells, and you got to get some energy going. Okay? And you do that with food. Food is the medicine. So the offer, because you came here tonight, and because I love you, and I'm so grateful. I have this joyful obligation to take care of my community. I love what I do. Like I said, I was a 20-year respiratory therapist. I very much know what sickness is. I saw it every day. And I knew about halfway in that I did not want to be like people I was taking care of. And I'm grateful. I'm so grateful that I get to share this with you tonight, how to change that for you so that you don't end up in, I know McLaren just built a brand new beautiful hospital, but you don't want to end up there. You don't. You don't want to end up there. You want to have longevity. You want to have your health. And you want to know what to do to obtain and keep your health. Yes or yes? You want to know. You don't want somebody to just say, hey, try this other pill, try this other medication, try this other medication until you have this big bag of meds, right, that don't make you any better. That's what I discovered. That's what I discovered 20 years in the hospital. Okay? Not that there isn't a place and time for hospitals, don't get me wrong. There is absolutely a place and time for emergency medicine in hospitals. But for your overall health, you really have to take action for yourself. You have to do it for yourself. Your doctor is not responsible for that. You are. You know? We put the action on someone else. Help me, help me. But they're giving you the wrong help. They have a different toolbox, right? You have to understand the toolbox that I have is of health. It's of whole food nutrition. It's of getting the organs in good working order. Okay, so because you're here tonight, we do have a special offer. The initial consult is normally $175. Okay, so it's greatly reduced. It's a 2-visit consult. And what's involved in that is what's called a heart rate variability study. This is a very unique study that a lot of professional athletes and people use all over the globe, doctors and whatever, specialists. But it's a really cool look at your nervous system function first and foremost, okay? So if your brain is talking to your body properly and your body back to your brain, great. But if it's not, we need to know, okay? It's also going to tell you how physiologically healthy are you for your age. How well are your organ systems working? How well can you adapt to your environment? So that's the first thing. We're going to do also a body composition analysis. So a lot of people that come to us, they want to lose weight. So we start monitoring their fat, their water content, their body composition, okay? Their muscle mass, their visceral fat levels, all those things. Because when you get a body in better working order and you clean up the diet, guess what? Those things just kind of fall in line. They get better over time. We're going to do the clinical testing, the actual nutrition response testing, so that I can discover for you what nutritional deficiencies you have, what organs are being affected, right? What your body says is the priority for you right in that moment. Because guess what? Nutrition response testing is the only real-time testing of the body to discover the causes of ill health. The only one. It's very unique, okay? And then we bring you back for a second part of the visit. It's called rapportive findings. That's where we're going to sit down and we're going to discuss everything we found on the clinical visit. Everything. So you have all the knowledge. Isn't it nice to know things? Isn't it nice to be told what's going on with you and how you can get better and have an action plan? That's nice. So that's what visit 2 is. And then if you say to me, Helena, let's go. I'm ready. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I want to get off some of these medications if I can. I want to enjoy my family. I want to travel, whatever it is. I'm on board with you, right? We become a team. That sounds good, right? So what's going to happen tonight is when you leave tonight, there's a desk out at the front. My friend Jessica's going to be there. And if you are interested in getting out of awareness and into action and you want my help, then I tell you what, tonight is the night to do it, okay? Because it's greatly discounted for you, that first visit, okay? So you can discover we can discover what on earth can you do to get better. Sound good? Yes or yes? Does anybody have any questions for me? Yeah. 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 Right. Remember what I said about sugar and what it causes? It causes inflammation, doesn't it? Yeah. 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 There's a lot you can do for that. And it really doesn't come down to fat necessarily. It might be the type of fat you consume, but we can definitely talk about that. Yeah, we could definitely talk about that more, especially if I were able to test you and discover what's going on with you in real time. It would be easy to really know. Yeah, great. All right, yeah. Well, right, they have oatmeal that has extra fruity stuff in it, right? Fruit or whatever, the instant oatmeal. But oatmeal is just a grain, yeah? Grains are just sugar, really, all said and done. Okay, so there's obvious sugar, your bread, rice, pasta, your cakes, cookies, candies, and ice cream. And then there's the not so obvious sugars, like your bread, rice, and pasta. Okay? All those grainy things are processed down into flour or into, instant oats, whatever. And they just give you a blood sugar spike, and then you get a dip, okay? So an alternative to that, if you like a hot cereal, is buckwheat. Yeah, buckwheat. It's not wheat, it's buckwheat. And it has a lower sugar content, lower glycemic index, and you cook it like you do oatmeal, and it's got a nice, more flavorful, in my opinion, but you cook it the same way, okay? Yeah?
My workplace at my warehouse, I have bottled water towards the back of my building in aisle 8 sometimes.
Yeah.
And
nice.
My aisle 8 don't have no more water no more.
Oh boy.
Back there.
That's not good.
Up front of my building have water in a big break room.
Fantastic. Water is good for you. Water is good for you.
Front break room today.
Wow.
I got 4 waters.
Nice.
1 for me. 3 for me.
Great.
And 1 for my mom.
Great. So I want to, sorry.
This week I was shaking a lot when I was walking to somebody's car this week going home.
You know what? I want to talk to you when we're done, okay? We're going to talk about that.
I was shaking a lot
yeah.
when I was walking down the highway when I was leaving my building.
Okay.
Yesterday when I was leaving.
Okay, I want to, you hang around. I want to talk to you after, okay? I want to just speak not only to you guys, but the people that are watching. Thank you so much for watching. This offer extends to you as well. And so if you are inspired to get out of awareness and into action with me, then the offer is also for you. So you can leave a comment on our social media site. You can call the office, and that's on our website. All of the links will be below the video, okay, on how to get a hold of us. And all you have to do is say, hey, I was watching Lick the Sugar Habit. I want to take action. I want to get out of awareness and take action. I want that offer, and my staff will make sure that that happens. They'll get a hold of you tomorrow or first thing next week, and we'll make that happen, okay? All right, thank you for watching. You guys are amazing. I hope you learned a lot. If you have any questions, I'll hang around for a little while and we can answer more questions if you have that. Otherwise, have a safe trip home. I'm heard we're supposed to get more snow. It's the last round though, I promise. I hope anyway, because it's been weekly since all the month started, right? We've been hit weekly. Yeah, okay.
I think it's the Sugar Addicts Total Recovery Program.
Okay.
And like it talks about like the addiction
Mhm.
of sugar. And I don't remember all of it, but at the end it talks about how at every night you eat a white